Well, good afternoon. Trucker Todd here, and welcome to Tuesday Trucker Talk. It's a show we're going to be starting. We're going to, good grief, we're still dealing with technical issues here. As this is my first time doing this, and we've got a lot we're going to cover tonight. I'm going to explain what brought this channel on, what I've got planned for it, and I think we're going to do something on YouTube that I'm not familiar with anybody else doing. So I hope you guys will stick around for that. We're going to get into it. I'm going to give everybody a few more minutes to get here before we jump into it. Let me tell you guys what I've been doing. So I'm out here in Bishop, California. I delivered yesterday, and I was real low in hours, so I'm taking a 34-hour break. And I don't know if any of you have been on the Weather Channel and followed what's going on in the world of weather, but we've got some terrible weather out here in California. Yesterday, I drove over, that Highway 6 that runs from Nevada down into Bishop, and there was water over the road in several spots. There was cars that was spun out in the ditch, and so it was a mess. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they closed the roads at some point. And so also several of you called me today and said that in Wyoming's I-80 and I-25 were closed in some spots. So we've got some bad weather around the country, and I would just encourage you guys to be careful out there and watch what you're doing. Don't have an accident. We're going to get into the Swift fuel surcharge and things like that. I'm monitoring your comments at the same time, and so we'll flip back and forth between those. Let's go ahead and jump into, good grief, the Swift fuel surcharge. Last week, it was $4.58 a gallon for the national average, 4.58.9 to be exact. And this week, it's gone down to 4.54.9. So we've had a drop of about 4 cents a gallon. Fuel surcharge last week was 55.7 cents per mile. This week, it's a flat 55 cents a mile. And the West Coast fuel surcharge remains unchanged at 8 cents per mile. It's been that way for a while. And so I'm going to go ahead and add that at the bottom as a deal so that you guys can see it while we're talking. There it is. All right. So let's get into why we started this channel, and let me answer a few questions real quick. So the reason we started this channel is, and I'm talking about before the live, I really wanted to help truck drivers. You know, if you get some older truck drivers together, you'll hear them say all the time, back in the day, we used to help each other. We used to stand united, things like that. And I didn't see a lot of that in the world today. So I wanted to help other truck drivers. And we've been helping a lot of people through the channel. We've been at this for a few years now. But the problem is there's only one of me and there's a lot of you. You guys know I spend a lot of hours on the phone every day helping guys out, and some that work at Swift and some that don't. So the hope was that something like this, I could answer your questions and, do it to where I could help more than one person at a time. And so there's going to be a lot of things that happen. This is one of the big announcements I was going to make is this week we're not going to have any guests, but in future videos, we're going to have guests on here. I'm going to interview them, and not just Swift guests, although I did have one of the vice presidents of Swift that indicated an interest in coming on this show once a month to give us an update about Swift stuff. The safety guy that's overnight Swift, both companies, wants to come on here in February. And I'm also going to bring on some drivers at some points that are successful, whether they work here or at other companies. And we're going to discuss what's making them successful and what's working for them. And so I hope you'll be a part of that. I'm really excited. I'm going to bring in, other trucking companies. And let's be honest, folks, we're not going to agree with everything they say. Some of them are full of baloney, but we're going to hear them out, hear what they have to say, and maybe your company will be on here. My email's going to be down there if you guys want to shoot me an email of companies you'd like to see on here and things like that. That would be great, and we'll certainly try to get them on the show and talk to them. And even if we don't agree with them, hopefully by the end of it, we can at least say we understand why they think the way that they do. All right, I don't want to neglect these comments. I really appreciate everybody joining me. So let me scroll through here. 38M, hello. Let's see who else we've got here. Franco, hello. Neo, Logic Neo, it's good to have you here. Edwin, thanks for joining us. Hey, Gary, good to see you. And Wolf, I'm not sure what that is, but I'm glad you're here. Hello, TJWP. Man, say that 3 times real fast. And the Truckers Coach is here. I'm glad he's here. I wanted to mention tomorrow night I'll be on his roundtable. He does that at 7 p.m. Central Time. So if you're not familiar with the Truckers Coach or you've never seen his channel, check that out tomorrow night at 7 p.m. I'll be on there. He usually goes about an hour, hour and a half, and we'll discuss Swift. He's on an MRP lease, and I'm on a straight lease. So we're able to kind of give both sides of the lease thing here at Swift and discuss the good and bad about it. And so I'm glad he's here, and I'm looking forward to that tomorrow night. We did it last week, and I got a lot of positive feedback on it. And I'm looking forward to doing it again tomorrow night. Hey, Chris, glad you could join us. Good to talk to you earlier, by the way. Shop fees. Yeah, I'm glad you're here, man. Now the party can start. T21, I'm glad you're here. And so, Roach Coach, that's funny. That's funny because you guys may not know this if you're new in trucking or if you're not a truck driver at all. That's what we used to call the food truck vendors that would come around to the warehouses and sell food. We'd call them roach coaches. Now, especially in Lubbock where I live, the food trucks are, that's a big thing there. If you've got the money to invest in that, you can do really well where I live in Lubbock with one of those food trucks. David Stahl, I'm doing great, man. How are you? I was telling them about the weather here, and hopefully where you're at, it's good. But you guys, especially you new guys, if it feels too dangerous to drive in, stop. I don't care what your dispatcher says. I don't care if there's 50 trucks going through there. If it doesn't feel safe to you, pull over. It's just not worth it. And wow, my first super chat. I've never received one of these before. I'm grateful for it. TJWP, thank you for coming in here and thank you for doing that. That means a lot to me. I was super nervous about doing this. You never know when you do these type of things how they're going to go, and I appreciate your support and joining me here. Let's see here. OTR Vic, how much do they pay for pulling hazmat? Or do they not have hazmat loads? I'm going to be totally honest with you. I don't know. I'll try to have that information by next week, or maybe somebody else in the comments can answer that. I had my hazmat years ago, and whenever they came up with the new qualifications that you had to be fingerprinted and all of that, I never got it back. It's quite a bit of expense, and to get it, I think it's about $200 or so. And by the time you get it, if you only pull 1 or 2 loads a year, it's not worth it. Plus, you're subject to more scrutiny from the DOT. So it wasn't something that I was ever excited to get back, but at some point I may get it again. But I honestly don't know exactly what they pay extra for fuels, or I mean for hazmat. I'm sure there is extra, and hopefully somebody here in the comments can answer that, or I'll tell you one better than that. If you'll watch me tomorrow night on the Truckers Coach Roundtable, I'll have an answer by then. That's a great question, and that's what we're hoping to accomplish here is answer questions just like that. Hey, Chili Dog, thanks for joining us tonight. I hope you got to see it from the beginning. I kind of explained the direction of what this channel is planning to do. And I want it to be lighthearted. You know, we're going to have some people on here that we're going to disagree with, and hopefully we can keep it respectful and things like that. And I'm going to try to bring some controversial companies on, places that you and I'd probably never agree to work, places with ridiculous truck payments and things like that, and see what they say when I pitch them those kind of questions. Let's see who else we got. Sorry about that, Truckers Coach. You are taken care of. 38M says, the wife and I are waiting on our drug screen to come back, and we will be there at Swift. Yeah, it usually takes about 3 business days to get that drug test back, and it seems like a lifetime when you're waiting on it. I was really nervous because I had never done a hair test before, and as you see, I keep my head shaved, so I was concerned, where are they going to get the hair? And they told me they can go anywhere except your crotch, so under your arms, on your chest. They took a little strip off my chest, and for those that are curious, they go 6 months back is what I've been told. So that's not a concern for me. I don't do anything like that. And so, but I know for some people that's definitely a concern. Let's see here. 2 weeks ago, I sent my application and spoke with Michelle, but I have not been able to communicate again to find out the status of my application, and I have not received a response. Hey, Edwin, right there in the ticker at the bottom of my screen, it's got my email address. Email me your name and phone number, and I'll take care of that tomorrow. I'll get a hold of Michelle and get her to reach out to you. And I know she's out of the office a lot lately. She had some vacation time off, stuff like that. So she is behind on calling people back, but I'll take care of that first thing in the morning. She's on Eastern time, so she's already getting ready to go home. But if you'll email me, I'll jump on that first thing in the morning and try to get you some additional information. Let's see here. T21 says, Trucker Coach, I heard Pennsylvania will drop the price 50 cents diesel on Tuesday. Well, I hope that's true. For me, it's not a huge deal because of the way Swift's fuel surcharge works. If you can get really above 7.5 miles a gallon, but really once you get above 8 miles a gallon, you can really, that fuel surcharge makes all the difference regardless of what fuel does. And I've had debates about that in the past, and maybe I need to explain that more in a future video. But the main thing you want to do now is buy your fuel smartly. Get you a fuel card. In the description below, I've got the one I recommend. There's others. Find one you like, one that some of them require a credit check, some of them don't. Find one you like and get you a fuel card, and that's going to be the key. I usually save a little over $300 a week using my own fuel card, and so there you're talking about $1,200 a month in savings. And so I really recommend shop around, get you a good fuel card, and you're going to be glad you did. I realize there are some companies that won't let you get your own fuel card, and so you just have to hopefully you're at a company that'll let you do that, or you're at a company that has a really great fuel discount. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, this is also good information. Dark Horse says that a good flatbed company is Heinz in Nebraska. I'll be honest with you guys, I don't know anything about flatbed. One of the things that I hope to do in the future, especially with Swift, is get some of their flatbed people on here, talk to them, learn about it. You know, I talked to that team couple and did a video about it, but I want to get a lot more in-depth information so that I can share it with you guys. And so that will be coming. Some of these flatbed companies that you guys like, email them to me and I'll call them and see if they want to come on the show. Before we go any further, I see Chris Bollinger, my friend Chris Bollinger, just left $9.99. I want to thank you for that, Chris, and I want to thank you for being here tonight. and I'm trying to find you so I can give you a wrench. As soon as I get to you in the comments, I'll shoot you a wrench. Let's see. Edwin says fuel is $4.70 here in Virginia. I've been paying around $3.40, $3.60 a gallon using my fuel card here lately, but I'll be the first to tell you it depends what part of the country you're in. I have not looked up fuel prices in Virginia lately. I can't seem to buy a load going east. I went out to New Jersey a couple of weeks ago, and I hadn't been able to get back since, but I'm ready to get out of this west and run out east a little more. 38M says he didn't either. They took all the hair off both arms. Wow, you found somebody aggressive. The razor, I don't know if I got a factory defect or what, but it didn't pull the chest hair off very well, and they ended up having to use a second razor on me, but we got through it, and it wasn't that big of a deal. It looked like the deal they put your hair in looks like those papers they use for people that roll their own cigarettes. So just imagine the amount of tobacco they use in a rolled cigarette, and that's about how much hair they take. That's a good question, Franco. He said, what do you do if you don't have any hair from head to toe? that's yeah, I definitely, I'm not sure what they do then. Maybe they do a blood test or something. I'm not sure. All right, let's see here. Yeah, like WFX. I actually worked at WFX at one point, and that's one of the people I'm going to try to get on this show. I misread my contract, which is funny because I'm always telling you guys, read your contract. And I worked there 91 days because in your contract it has a stipulation about if you quit before 90 days or if you quit after 90 days. And I got it backwards. I should have quit 2 days earlier, and I would have come out a little better. But the thing I can say about WFX, I didn't make what they said you'd make, but I did make a good income. But they just, man, it wasn't for me. And not saying I would never go back. All right. Corey Oatley says you could emphasize how their fuel surcharge and lower DE. Okay, I'm not sure I understand that comment, Corey. If you want to rephrase it, or if somebody else understands what they're saying, put it for me and we'll get back to it. There you go, Chris. I got you a wrench. I appreciate you, man. All right, let's see here. Hey, Brian Walton, glad to have you here. Exactly, Corey. Great point. I have guys, and it's funny. There's trucking companies doing advertisements right now. We gross $10,000 a week, but their truck payment's $1,500, and they got a trailer rental fee, and they got this fee and that fee, and by the time they get done with you, you're taking home $1,500 a week. And so, instead of looking at gross or even at net, I recommend getting the numbers and doing them yourself. And they always figure them really high at 3,500 miles a week or something. Figure them at 2,500 miles a week or 2,200 miles a week. You say, why so low, Todd? Well, you're going to go home at some point, and when you go home, you want to figure that in your average. So if you put it at 22 or 2,500 a week, it's going to give you a more realistic week after week average. And so that's just something I would look at. Let's see here. This thing keeps scrolling up. Let's see. Yeah, I saw that. I didn't know what he was up to. I received a couple of nasty messages right before I came on live. Thanks, Trucker Coach, for taking care of that. Let's see. Chris Bollinger says, if you want a company job, TMC is great. I made $80,000 there last year. I've heard kind of mixed reviews about TMC. Again, I'm not a flatbed expert, so you guys correct me. Here's what I hear about TMC. Their trucks are slow, which that doesn't bother me. I go slow now. I do 60, not because I have to, but because I'm trying to save fuel. Sometimes I do go faster, Just depends on the situation. But I hear that TMC has all kinds of policies, like you're not allowed to walk on the grass at the terminals. They do truck inspections, and I mean, get in the sleeper, make sure it's detailed. And maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's a bad thing. I'm not a big fan of people climbing around in my truck and inspecting and going through my things. And that may not be true about TMC. If I can get them on the show, that's definitely something I'll ask them about. Um, they have a military background and leadership, I hear, which is great. I'm a big supporter of the military, and so it would be great if I could get TMC to come on here and ask them some questions, and I'm definitely going to reach out to them. And here's another one. Dark Horse said, yeah, TMC is a good company. Chris said, in 10 months. I'm not sure what that is. I must have missed something. Looks like there's a little drama that's broke loose down there. This channel is moderated for that reason. We're trying to do something clean and productive here. And those of you guys that I've passed wrenches to, or that'll be receiving wrenches in the future, we just want to keep things clean and respectful. It's okay if people want to disagree with me or things like that, but let's try to keep it respectful. And who knows, we can debate and maybe we agree to disagree. And it's going to be real important as we start having guests on here, vice presidents, and I've even got a couple of CEOs I'm talking to about coming on here. And CEOs, they don't want to come on here and hear vulgarity or stupid questions that don't go anywhere or things like that. So I would just ask that if you can't say something nice, either hold your tongue or try to phrase it in a semi-respectful way so that we can have an intelligent conversation about it. Let's see here. Logic Neo said, Coach, and then he said, Todd. I'm not sure about that one. Let's go on down a little further. Yeah, I want to talk about the trolls a minute, and I may regret doing this. You know, I don't know any of those guys, and I don't hate any of those guys. And it's fine if they hate me. It's fine if they don't like what I'm doing. I'm not going to guess on their motives or why they do what they do. But I wouldn't want that life. I wouldn't want the life where every day I had to come up with something negative, where every day I was trying to tear somebody down. They're doing the exact opposite of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build people up and help people. And if they want to get on board and do that, we could do a lot of great things together. Some of them are, at 200 or 300 subscribers, and they can't figure out why their channel doesn't grow. Try doing something positive. Try helping somebody. If you're going to say something negative, do it in a constructive way to where that person can benefit from it, instead of just tearing people down, false accusations, things like that. And YouTube does have a code of conduct policy, and I try to abide by it, and I would hope that they do too. But I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking to them tonight. There was some speculation that I started this channel to take down other channels or things like that, and I don't. I wish every YouTuber the best. YouTube is a grind. It's hard work, and anybody that takes the time to try to do this and puts up with the ridicule and the criticism, my hat's off to them. Literally, no hat tonight, but typically in my videos there's a hat. All right, let's get into some more. Brian Walton says, for those that aren't here at Swift, think about coming over because Swift has the freight any way you want to go. Yeah, I'm right around, and this is taking a 34-hour break and stopping in Oklahoma City for a windshield and everything. I'm still around 2,800, 3,000 miles. I'll be able to give you the exact mileage tomorrow when I go on Coach's show because I'm on a 34 now, but I'll get another load And well, it'll probably end up about where it's at. But either way, I'll have those numbers tomorrow on his show, and I'll share those with you then. Jay says, same at Dart. Yeah, Dart, we're going to have some people on from Dart too, which might surprise you. I still talk to some people over there. Recently received a voicemail from the CEO over there still. So there is some communication. I still talk to a couple of the YouTubers over there. Not every day, but from time to time. And so we'll have them on at some point too. Dart's not a bad outfit. The problem I had with Dart, and it probably wouldn't be an issue for most people, is I had some issues with their company shop, and I had some issues with their safety department, mainly about their forward-facing cameras. It's my understanding they've made some changes and improvements over there. And so we're going to get them on. I'm going to find out what those changes and improvements are. I'm not leaving Swift. I love it here, but there's more than one way to peel an apple. And if they've got a good program going, I don't mind telling you guys about it. And so we'll definitely have them on at some point. 38M said, be right back. We just got our delivery. Got to help the wife do drop and hook. Teamwork makes the dream work. That's cool, 38. I'll see you in a little bit, man. Dark Horse, flatbed info. I agree. When I started this channel, it was mainly for experienced drivers, but I've had a lot of students that are asking me questions, and I've had a lot of flatbed that are asking me questions. And so, we're going to learn together. I don't know hardly anything about flatbed. And if you guys want to email me information, my email's in the ticker. I'd be happy to learn. Or if you want to share some of your experiences and information with me that I can pass on to help other drivers, then that's definitely something that I would be interested in having and sharing. Let's see. Can you tell us what the difference is as far as money goes, going company versus lease? What's the benefits? That's Brian Walton. Well, the first question, I get this a lot, and the first answer to that question would be, it really depends on why you want to do a lease at all. There may not be any benefit to you. If money is the only reason you're doing it, then I wouldn't say that that's a bad reason, but I'd say be careful. And you say, well, why is that? Well, there's actually, think of it like a stool. There's 3 legs. One is your truck, your equipment. Getting a bad truck could destroy that business, no matter how good the company is. The second is your dispatcher or your load board, whatever you're using. And again, we saw this with the spot market going down like it did. It's affected people, and so that could also destroy your business, and it's wiped out a lot of people. And the third thing is your knowledge. I had a guy yesterday that was in truck driving school asking me about leasing a truck, and he doesn't have the knowledge or skill set to be ready for that. And so those 3 things are really, really important. Now, if we're just going to talk money, on an average week, if I work, I can bring home about $2,500 a week. Other guys at Swift will tell you $2,200 to $2,500, but I know guys that make closer to $3,000 or $3,200 a week. I got off the phone earlier today with the guy that he said consistently when he's out here, he makes about $3,200 a week. So the money's there. As a company driver, you're probably going to look at $1,500, $1,600 a week. Now we're talking gross there. You're going to have your taxes and things come out of that. In a lease, you're going to pay your taxes, but you're going to have a very large amount of deductions. And I try to avoid taxes and discussing that because it's different for every single person. I have a lot of deductions, and you might have a lot of deductions too. So it's, your taxes and my taxes are going to vary, and I'd prefer you get with a tax professional and discuss that. You guys know December 31st, I left ATBS, and we're going to talk about that more in the coming weeks. I've got a new tax service, and we're still setting things up. I will be getting my LLC And you guys know I've ran from answering any questions about that. But I finally got with somebody. We sat down. We had a long discussion. We're going to be getting our LLC in the next few weeks. And then I'm going to do a video about that and explain why I did it. But I'm still not going to recommend it to you. I'm going to ask you to check for your specific situation. So those are some things that are going to be coming up in the future. So you're looking at, I can make about $1,000 a week more when things are good. But a breakdown, I had 2 breakdowns last year that lasted 3 weeks apiece, and those can really hurt your income. And you just have to question yourself about why you want to do it to begin with. But yeah, that's what I want to say about that from now. I think this is going to be a question that comes up a lot, and I'll elaborate it more from week to week as this question comes up. Neo sent $2. Thanks, Neo. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Randy Spears. Okay, I'm back. I hope everybody's still with me. So Randy Spears, I think he meant this in a bad way, but we're going to run with it. So what? You're the new saving grace of my trucking industry. Absolutely not. If anything, I'm hoping we can all improve it together. I covered that at the start of the video, and if you missed it, I would encourage you to go back, and I'm hoping they can bring guests on every week and that together we can learn and all benefit from it. And at least 3 times in this video, I've mentioned that my email's down in the ticker, and that if you guys could share information with me, I'd be glad to pass it on, especially about Flatbed, which I know little to nothing about. And Randy, I hope that you'll be a part of that and that you'll contribute and help share information as well. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Eric says, good evening, sitting in Maryland. What's the weather up there like? You know, we talked about Wyoming and out here in California, but I haven't heard anybody say anything about Maryland weather. And let's see, Chris said that TMC is a good company, so that's cool. Any of you flatbedders that are looking for an outfit, you might check out TMC, or maybe he's saying true to what I'd said about him earlier. Again, I don't know anything about TMC, and so I'm going to rely on you guys heavily to help me with that. How do you understand what are good and bad states to buy fuel in? Like they said, don't get fuel in Pennsylvania. So what you're referring to is IFTA, and there's a lot of competing theories on where to buy fuel. Some people will tell you that, you know, just fuel where you need to fuel and the taxes will work themselves out. Some people will tell you to use an app that subtracts IFTA out of the fuel so that you can see what you're actually paying minus the taxes. I tend to lean that way, but you just kind of, it's something you learn over time, but it's something that now you have a lot of apps and things that can help you as well. Find you a good IFTA app that will give you that information. Also, there's companies, I believe even OIDA has one that will show you what the IFTA is in each state, and then you can make better decisions. One of the deals I use, you put your route in and it tells you where the cheapest places are to buy fuel along that route. So let's see what else we got here. Logic Neo said, Coach, are you going live with Todd? That's a great question. We haven't discussed it for this channel, but I think it's a great idea. And the reason I haven't suggested it yet is because I'll be on his channel tomorrow night at 7 p.m. But absolutely, if Coach wants to come on here at some point, he's welcome anytime. We can schedule that as long as I don't have another guest scheduled that week. And I'm certain that it'll happen at some point. But that's the only reason that he hasn't come on yet is we're already doing a show together tomorrow night. And I hate to do two semi-identical shows in a row, but definitely I think he's got around 15 years experience, and he could definitely contribute to this show, and we'll sure look at that at some point. Jay said, hopefully after the drug test Monday, I'll be at Swift by the following Monday. Yeah, I tell guys usually 7 to 10 days from start to finish to get hired on. Now, we went for a while where it was 2 to 3 weeks. And I would also tell you, if you message a recruiter and you don't hear back in a day or two, shoot me an email with your name and phone number and tell me, and I'll reach out to them and I'll get somebody in contact with you. Sometimes they get so busy that applications fall through the cracks, things like that. And sometimes I just need to send an email or make a phone call and I can get somebody to contact you. Let's see here. Franco, by the tax rate in each state. Exactly what Coach said, exactly. So each state has their own tax rate, and it's based on how many miles you drive in each state. And some states give you a credit, and some states don't. Like Oregon, you can take a bath going through that state. And so it's something you learn over time, but fortunately now we've got a lot of tools that can help you with that as well. Let's see here. Chris says 80K is what he made at TMC in 10 months, and that he's doing very well leased to Swift. So there you go. So he was making about $8,000 a month at TMC, which I'm assuming he was a company driver. That's not a bad wage to be a company driver. And he says he's also doing well here at Swift. I know Chris, not personally, we've never met in person, but we've talked on the phone extensively, and he's a smart guy with a lot of knowledge. And so I'm glad he's here. He's going to be able to contribute greatly and help us all. We're all going to be better drivers because of people like him and Truckers Coach and things like that being here. And so let's see here. Truckers Coach said tax rate versus miles. Yep, exactly. Exactly. Teddy Waters. Hi, Todd and everyone. I'm waiting to get into trucking and don't have much work history, but I have a clean background and record. Can y'all tell me what's a good company that will accept me? Well, Teddy, you guys know we like it here at Swift, but I'm going to tell you too, it depends where you live and what you want to do, what kind of freight you want to haul, where you want to run. That's the great thing about trucking. There's so many different companies and there's so many different opportunities that if you tell me what you're wanting to do in trucking, I can probably tell you where you need to go. But the thing I will tell you is the first year is the roughest year, no matter what company you go to. And so you just want to go in there, not run into nothing, and just kind of keep your nose clean, develop a reputation of delivering on time, and then you'll see a lot of doors open up. If you can stay at your first company 2 years, then you'll have even more opportunities. The first company I worked for as a company driver was Swift back in December of 1996, and I lasted 4.5 years with them. So when I left Swift, I had all kinds of opportunities available to me, and so that's what I want to say about that right now. Bobby Martin says, Michelle says the truck situation's looking better. That's a relief and great news. There for a while, they were scared they were going to run out of trucks. And I was telling people, don't wait, get your truck now because there may not be any soon. And so I haven't talked to Michelle in a couple of days, but that's a great sign if there's more trucks starting to be available. Let's see here. TJWP, negative people don't have any goals. Yeah, I don't know why I don't get it. I really don't. It's we need to be out here helping each other and not tearing each other down. And people want to know why we have uh, all these speed limiter laws coming through and all these stupid regulations we have now. It's because instead of truck drivers standing together, we all try to tear each other down. We're too busy fighting with each other to watch what's going on around us. And so uh, hopefully we can see that start to change. But we've got to come together and quit tearing each other down and fighting over little things that don't matter. Randy's asking if Jason and I are good. I'll leave that to Jason, but I'll just tell you that he's on my live tonight and I'm on his tomorrow night. And so as far as I know, everything's fine. Dark Horse says to Teddy Waters that Maverick or TMC or Swift is good too for flatbed. That's, for a while I heard Maverick was really good for flatbed. And then I heard some guys say not so much. So I don't know. That's another company. If you guys want to talk flatbed, shoot me some information to my email that's down in the ticker about Maverick, and I'll contact Maverick and try to get some of them on the show. And we'll talk about flatbed as well. I think that'd be interesting. I know I always see their big terminal when I'm going through right past the Petro there on the interstate out there. So it would be, I would like to know a little bit more about them, even though I'll probably never do flatbed. So let's see here. Mr. Charles said, so why are we walking on your fellow Swift YouTube Contractors Corner? They had Tuesday for a minute. So I answered that a little bit at the start of this video, but I'll go into it a little deeper now. Basically, it was a scheduling thing. So when I started this channel, I was doing shows on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I still try to do that. Some weeks I run out of content. And so that leaves Tuesday and Thursday. Currently, I try to put out a Monday video. I've got this show on Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm on Truckers Coach. Thursday, I rebroadcast that show on my channel. And so that only leaves Friday. That leaves Tuesday or Friday. Friday, when I do videos on that day, people usually binge watch them over the weekend. So Friday didn't make sense for a live. A lot of guys are going home. A lot of guys can't watch. And so Tuesday made the most sense. Now, as far as that other channel that you're referring to, those guys are doing something entirely different than what I'm going to be doing. They offer a lot of financial advice. They offer a lot of tax advice. And I'm going to be interviewing both Swift leadership and leadership from other companies and even a few drivers. So we're doing an entirely different show. Also, their channel and mine is rebroadcast afterwards. So if you don't catch them or don't catch me live, you can always watch it later. And I mean, there's thousands, probably even millions of YouTube channels. It's impossible for me to pick a date and time that doesn't step over somebody. And I've been told that those guys have some ill will towards me. They're upset with me. That's fine. I don't have any ill will towards either one of them, and I wish them both the best. And frankly, because we're putting out different content, I don't expect this channel to hurt their channel at all. And so I know everybody would like a little drama there, and there's really not any drama. And so that's all I'll say about that for now. But if I didn't clarify that earlier in this video, hopefully that clarifies it for everybody. Let's see, diesel down. Schneider's going hourly here in 2 weeks. If my drops, I'm heading to Swift. Oh, if his pay drops. Yeah, I've had some guys. Well, there's some guys in here tonight that used to work at Schneider. The problem I've got with Schneider is probably the same problem I've got with Landstar. Once you start getting around 65% of the pay, it's just hard to make a check no matter what the freight rate is. And Schneider is one of those companies that I hope to get on here that they have some pretty high truck payments. And now they do have some contract freight that pays pretty well. So does Landstar. And so in the right situation, it could be a really good deal. But in the wrong situation, it could be pretty bad. Let's see here. Chris Lacey. Hey, Chris. I texted with him earlier today. Glad you're here, man. Thanks for coming. TJWP Trucking. That's why I enjoy this channel. Great information. Well, I appreciate that. I've, everybody thinks I've got a big ego and all of that, but you guys are the reason that I've done well. You guys have asked me some tough questions and held me accountable, and I'm a better truck driver because of it. And I hope that that's what we can do here is make each other better. But I want to thank each and every one of you that's contacted me and contributed because you've all made me better. And I really enjoy helping people. I love when you guys come up and tell me that my video helped you or that phone call I did with you helped you. That's what it's all about. And I want you to know, even those of you that hate my guts, I still appreciate you being here. Let's see here. Let's see. This Trucking Life said, hey, thanks for coming in. Glad to have you. Let's see. He's froze on my end. Yeah, I had a second where I had a call come in and it wiped everything out. I'm on Do Not Disturb, but for some reason, that call got through and I don't know what to do about it. As we go along, we're going to get where we can fix these things. Let's see here. Sorry about this. I'm having some technical issues here. The rain has made my signal really terrible, and I didn't even know if we're going to be able to go live tonight or not. Some people said it's breaking up. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Yeah, 38 M. I'm in bad weather. Can everybody still hear me? Okay, there you go. Yeah, if you can hear me, click off and come. Well, it doesn't do any good for me to tell you if you can't hear me to click off and come back in. Let's see here. Darian Thomas says he works at Swift and the owner operator is worth it. I agree. I'm the happiest I've ever been, making the most money I've ever made. And I never thought I'd be saying that about Swift, but it's definitely a good deal. Somebody said that Knight has was actually Quick Williams said Knight has a great lease purchase. I don't know anything about it, but I'm going to look into that. And hopefully I can get some guys from Knight on here too. I'd love to talk to them. I think Rail is a training company that offers flatbed, but I don't know much about them just from seeing their trucks. That was Franco. So yeah, Rail, I haven't heard a lot of positive things about them, but like I said, if you guys want them to come on, if you've got questions about them, I'll try to book them. I'm gonna book some stuff on my own, but those of you that email me with suggestions, your suggestions are going to go to the front of the line, and that's going to be the companies I try to get on first. Doggone it, I hate when it does that. Sal Al contributed $5. Thanks, Sal, for coming in, and I'm glad we could get your situation fixed earlier today. Let's see here. Quick Williams, I live in my minivan and spend weekends watching people race cars. I don't have one, but once shook hands with a race car driver. Todd, you're okay with me. Coach is my friend too. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. Let's see. Coach said my internet is trash. I can't hear or nothing. I'll bet you it's my internet. Even on phone calls today, they were breaking up a lot, and a lot of people were having trouble hearing me. 38 said, said, breakdown, joy, all 4 brakes frozen to drums. Love it. Hope everyone else snaps better. Yeah, isn't it fun to have to get out there with the hammer and beat on your brakes to get them to where you can move your truck? Bonehead Truckers. I wonder if that's the real Bonehead Truckers. He puts out some funny stuff. When I need a good laugh, I watch his videos. He said, Big Cat Trucker sent me. I'm glad you're here, Bonehead. I've been watching your content for a long time, and it's hilarious. It's amazing what guys do out here. Let's see. Hersley's, are you the trucker's coach apprentice? I'm not even going to respond to that. But anyway, let's move on. All right, Hensley, I'm glad you're here. Dark Horse, I love you, brother. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thor sent me. He's got, a lot of people sent you. Either way, I'm glad you're here. Like I said, love me or hate me, I'm glad you're here. Hopefully, we can all benefit from this by having an open dialogue like this. Oh, good, 38. I'm glad you can hear me again. Even with Do Not Disturb, some calls are getting through. That's something I'm going to work on this week. It won't be a problem by next Tuesday. But somebody tried to call in while we're doing this. Let's see. Quick Hit said he's being trolled. That's not me. Yeah, we're going to have a little bit of that in the beginning. Like I said, I hope at some point they change their stripes and start putting out some content that we can all benefit from and some comments that we can all benefit from. Travel Loco sent me. Travel Loco was a big deal for a little bit. Everybody was like, oh, that's the place to go. And I don't even know if they're still around now. You don't even hear anybody mention Travel Loco anymore. Wolf said, U.S. Express, are they a good company? I've never heard much good about them. They opened up that other company, Variant, and I've heard a little bit better about them, but I'm sure as time progresses in the coming months, we'll get some of those people on here and talk to them and see what we can find out. I'm not going to be disrespectful, but I'll ask them some tough questions and we'll see how they respond. Prime sent me. I actually worked at Prime about 20 years ago, and I actually know some people that are over there driving right now, and so we'll they're obviously different than they were 20 years ago when I worked there, and so we'll probably have them on at some point too. Let's see, that's not the real Quick Williams. Trucker Todd, do you have a CB radio like a big time truck driver? I use a Cobra 29 Bluetooth. I bought one of the original ones when they first come out. It's been peaked and tuned and has a little bit of work done to it. What's bad is yesterday when I was driving through that snowstorm, there was only me and one other driver that was running their radios. And I mean, there was wrecks everywhere and everything. And the whole situation would have been a lot safer if more of us had our radios. But I think the cell phones pretty much killed the CB radio for a lot of drivers. Rail has a good training for flatbeds, good place to start, but not to stay, in my opinion. How long do you have to be at Swift before going lease? I have 6 months. Yeah, they want you to have about 9 months experience, but I would recommend you had about 5 years, at the bare minimum 2 years. I know that 6 months or 9 months seems like a lot of experience when you first start driving, but remember, a lot of times at that level, you've either only gone through one winter or you may not have gone through a winter at all, depending on when you start. And there's really, like we was talking about earlier, about IFTA and all of that, there's really a lot of stuff you need to learn. Don't be afraid to take your time and not rush into something. You want to do it when you're really ready. It's almost like a marriage. You know, you don't want to get married before you're ready. You want to have your single time, and doing a lease is the same thing. You don't want to jump into it until you've got the knowledge and experience and you realize what you're getting yourself into. And you need to have $5,000 to $10,000 saved up. All right, I got to get through these comments a little quicker. I'm way behind. Okay, a lot of people are saying they can hear me now. That's good. Kelvin Johnson, thanks, man. I'm glad you're here. Asphalt Jungle, what's up, Todd? Glad you're doing good. Be safe out there with all that rain. Thanks, Asphalt. I enjoyed talking to you yesterday, too. I think it was through email, but yeah, thanks, man. Quick got deleted because you're... maybe because they're on my favorite list. Um, I don't even think it was, I don't know. I don't even think it was a real person. I'm getting a lot of spam calls, and I bet that's what it was. Uh, People trying to sell me life insurance and all kinds of stuff. And so I thought they passed a law a while back that was supposed to take care of a lot of that, but I'm still getting a lot. Yeah, Chris Lacey, I forgot about Travel Loco too. Hey, Craig Davenport. Not much, man. I'm stuck here in Bishop, California. It's raining like cats and dogs. And from what I hear, there's bad weather all over the country. We're starting this new deal on Tuesdays, and we're going to bring a lot of Swift leadership on here, going to ask them questions. Some of them are going to be regulars that will appear regularly. And we're even going to get some drivers on here and pick their brain and see what we can learn. We've had a lot of interest tonight in Flatbed, and so we're going to try to discover a little more about Flatbed, as I don't know much about it, to be totally honest. Okay. 38 said, hey, Trucker Todd, the Brothers Roberson, why I do this. Had the wife listen, and she said, thanks, Todd, because she teared up over that song. Yeah, you know, those guys, I contacted them and got permission to use that song in my videos. And for the most part, everybody loves it. I've had a few critics of it, but they're great guys. And they actually live in Springfield. And so they've been very kind to let me use that song in my videos, and I really appreciate them. But like I was telling that other guy considering doing a lease earlier, why do you want to do it? You really need to know why you want to do what you want to do. Why do you want to drive a truck over the road as a company driver? Why do you want to do it in a lease? And I think that song really brings it home. And I like the song, and that's why I do the montage with family and things like that, because that's why I do this. But anyway, let's keep going. Franco says you might need to look at you. Yeah, oh, I do have do not disturb on, but I'm using the main phone. I'm using a Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4. And then the secondary phone that I'm reading the comments on is a Motorola. And I've got about 5 phones in here because they get broke out here on the road. And I've got backups for if one phone goes down or quits working. Let's see. I should join Ike's Radio Club. I honestly don't know what that is, but if Ike wants me to do that, it's something I might look at, or I'll find out more about that after the show. But all I can tell you is his Bonehead Trucker videos are hilarious, and I'm sure everybody in here's seen them. And sometimes he's critical of Swift in those videos, but they're pretty hilarious. The only thing I would say is when you watch his videos, realize it's entertainment. Don't take it to heart. And if you see a Swift driver or Schneider driver do something stupid, that's one person in one instance. That doesn't mean that all the drivers there are that way. And I kind of wonder that if some of that is not staged by drivers that are mad at their company. You know, when you see a FedEx truck in the middle of a river or something like that. But either way, the lengths that people will go to do stupid things are hilarious. All right, let's see what else we got here. Dark Horse, I would agree with you. He says that you need about 5 years. I would agree. I would agree. Let's see. This Trucking Life. 38M, yeah, it's a good tune. I'm glad you like it. I had one guy, I had one guy that attacked me this week. He had 41 subscribers, I think, and he told me my channel would never go anywhere as long as I had that intro on there. And so his channel, I went and checked it out. He was talking about riding lawnmowers or something, but he was really upset. You know, some people just fast forward the 30 seconds if you don't like the song, but I really like it. And I think to most truck drivers, they can relate to it, even if they don't like country music. And let's see here. Chris Lacey says, also make sure you do your homework on lease purchase and ask questions before jumping in. Exactly. You know, I used to say that, and now I'm having trouble getting people to even read their contracts. That you don't need to read it after you've been at a company 6 months. You need to read it before you sign it. You need to call and ask questions. You maybe even need to have a lawyer look at it. You need to know what you're signing, and be skeptical of any company that won't send you what they call a dummy lease before you even show up at orientation. Every company should have a blank contract that you can read prior to joining, so you know what you're getting yourself into. Let's see here. People don't use CBs like they used to, and there was just a wreck. Yep, I agree with you. I don't leave mine on all the time, but anytime there's bad weather or a lot of traffic, I turn it on. And I'm going back to listening to it a lot more because you just never know. You go around a corner and there's an accident, and hopefully somebody going the other way can warn you so you got time to slow down before you come up on it. Yeah, Trucking Life, I actually choked up a bit. Oh, cool. Let's make CB radios great again. I need a ball cap that says that, or a T-shirt. That's a great slogan. Let's see. Dark Horse, hell yeah, let's bring back CBR radios. The American flag, that's cool. Truckers Coach, remember, you're at 1 hour. If you go much longer, you won't get the views. My radio club is called Wolfpack. Okay. I'm going to find out about that, Bonehead. Yeah, we're getting ready to wrap it up. We got just a few more comments. I had really only planned on this being about 30 minutes or 45 minutes, but like always, you guys had a lot of great input, and I didn't want to exclude anybody. Let's see here. 38M says, is there a time limit? No, and I realize we need to, you know, they have all kinds of stuff they tell you when you start a YouTube channel, recommendations, and they say keep it between an hour and a half, or people lose interest. And so there's always next week, and we do need to wind it down, but we got a lot of people in here with great questions, so that's why I'm trying to make sure and answer every person. Let's see here. We're almost there, though. Kelvin likes the song. All right. Yeah, I probably won't do it in the lives, but it'll be in all the recorded videos. I'm not that YouTube tech savvy yet, but from what I've seen, that figures, LOL. The song in the intro is catchy, and I don't listen to country music. I'm singing in it. And a lot of people think I only listen to country, and in my Spotify, I've got about 1,100 songs. I literally listen to every kind of music that you can think of. Let's see here. They said they don't have a radio channel, so that was a joke. I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know that I did lives until recently. I just knew he put those videos out, and they're hilarious. Again, if you guys hadn't seen them, go check them out. Let's see. Oh, then he said, oh yeah, he does, my bad. Cab radios. So Ike does have a channel after all. Let's see. 38 says, well, honestly, trucking can be lonely, so talking to a bunch of truckers, me personally, I wouldn't lose interest. Let's see if we got anything else we want to talk about here. Let's see. So yeah, that looks like about it. If anybody else has got anything before we wrap this up, we'll go ahead and tackle it. And if not, we'll go ahead and end this. But just a few things. Let's recap. Tomorrow night I'll be on Truckers Coach Roundtable. I hope you guys will join me there. At that point, I'll be able to tell you how many miles I ran this week. And I'll also give you those fuel surcharge numbers again. And we'll talk Swift. And on here, we're going to be meeting every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central. And we're going to have people on. I'm going to have a lot of Swift leadership. Swift is really supportive of this channel, and they like what we're going to be doing. They'll be participating. But I'm also going to bring in other trucking companies. And any of them that y'all are interested in, you can email me, and I'll try to get them on the show. And we'll even bring some truck drivers on that are successful, that I think are articulate and can give us some good comments. And so I hope you'll be here for that. And let's see here. I think that's about it. All right, folks. I appreciate you guys. Wait, looks like we got one more. If you bring your own truck. So if you bring your own truck, the way I understand it, the maintenance account is totally optional. Now, I would recommend that you have a maintenance account here, even if you have your own truck, because I found out this week when I got my windshield done that if you use any of the Swift shops, you can't pay with a credit card or cash. You have to have a maintenance account to pay. If you don't have a maintenance account, they're going to take it out of your settlement. So if you don't want a bill coming out of your settlement, it's better to have a maintenance account. So I'm kind of on the fence about that. I don't know if you'd want to have your own, if you'd want to save it on your own, or if you'd want to put it in a maintenance account. I would say put it in a savings account or an interest-bearing account, but maybe put, I don't know, a nickel in a Swift maintenance account, so that if you did get to a shop somewhere and you needed some work done, you wouldn't have all that coming out of your settlement. But it's 6 one way, half dozen the other. It's whatever you think is best. Okay, how much honestly should I put a mile? I was thinking 10 cents each week. Is that good, or would you say higher or lower? I would say it depends on the age of your truck. If you've got a newer truck under warranty, maybe around 10 to 12 cents. If you've got an older truck, I got a guy that's going to be coming on this show in a few weeks. He drives a 2004 Volvo. A guy like him, he probably needs, 35, 40 cents because he's constantly repairing something on that truck. So you have to look at your truck and your individual situation. If you want to email me, we can talk about your truck specifically, and I can help you come up with a number. But it's better to have too much in there than not enough, and keep that in mind when you're tabulating that number. Yeah, if I had an 08 Volvo that had been kept up on the maintenance, depending on how recently you had an end frame, depending on, there's just a lot of factors there, but I'm thinking you're going to be somewhere around 17 to 20 cents a mile at least. And so like I said, we need to talk about your truck some more. I don't know how new your tires are. I don't know those kind of things. So email me and we'll definitely jump into that. But yeah, definitely the older your truck is, the more you want to put back for maintenance and be ready. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank y'all for a great show. We'll see you next Tuesday. Take care. Bye-bye.